You know, James Gunn is somebody we've talked about a lot over the last couple of years. On the good side, because he makes some really fun movies we enjoy watching. On the negative side, because of all the drama he had with Disney and stuff like that. But he is back, and of course, making the new Suicide Squad movie for Warner Brothers, a movie that's got me very excited because while that wasn't the movie I would have picked James Gunn to do over at Warner Brothers with DC, it was certainly one that caught my attention when they said that's the one he's going to do because he clearly has a talent for taking eclectic, weird, oddball characters in a cinematic universe and making something really fun out of them. Just look what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's exciting to see. Well, one of the questions that's been going around a lot with a lot of people is, what is Suicide Squad going to be rated? Well, James Gunn was just addressing that. Now, he's talked about it before, but we're getting closer. He just addressed that on his social media when somebody asked him that specific question. And basically what James Gunn said was this. So he says, what rating will it be? Well, this is a few weeks ago. What rating will it be? Do you know? And James Gunn said, oh, yes, I know, but I can't say yet. And now he was just asked again, and his simple reply was just wait and see. So right now, James Gunn is staying a little bit coy about whether or not the new Suicide Squad will be rated R, or whether it will indeed be rated PG-13 like most other comic book movies. I think there's strong arguments to be made for both sides. On the PG-13 side, you know, we've said many, many times and in many, many different ways, you can get away a lot today with a PG-13 rating, especially in comic book movies. Like, there's a lot you can do in PG-13 rated movies, so there's a lot you can do there. Also, generally speaking, not always, I'm saying generally speaking, PG-13 movies tend to make more money than R-rated movies do. There are some exceptions, but generally speaking, that's just a fact. I mean, that's a statistical fact. So there's that as well. Plus, we know that James Gunn could do bonkers stuff with PG-13. We saw him do it with Guardians of the Galaxy. However, I think there's a good argument to be made about why we should expect maybe Suicide Squad to be rated R. First of all, there aren't many comic properties. Like, everybody says, oh, I want this rated R and I want that rated R. I want everything rated R. And for the most part, there's no point to it. But there are a couple of comic book properties where an R rating could feel very appropriate. And depending on your approach, a Suicide Squad could very well be one of those comic book properties that would very well fit into an R-rated type of scenario. The other argument I think you can make, Rob, about why you maybe can expect Suicide Squad, this one under James Gunn, to be rated R, is because Warner Brothers lately has been very comfortable experimenting with the R rating. They did it with Joker. Joker's a little bit of a different situation. I understand that, but still, they did it with Joker. But more comparable is they did it with Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn that flopped. But they did. I mean, so clearly they've shown they are comfortable doing with it. So, Rob, if I had to go out on a limb and bet $1, no more than $1, if I had to go out on a limb, my guess would be, that was a good imitation, by the way. My guess would be, and it's purely a guess, my guess would be they're going to go rated R. Because remember, when James Gunn was transitioning, and every single, like after him and Disney parted ways, they've since kissed and made up. But when they did part ways, every single studio was lining up and offering James Gunn whatever he wanted. So he had a lot of leverage. I won't be surprised at all to find out part of his pitch was, okay, I'll come do Suicide Squad, but I want to do rated R. And I got a feeling Warner Brothers would probably be okay with that. And again, they've shown lately they're comfortable with the R rating. Suicide Squad seems to be a property you can do this with. I think it's going to be rated R. Rob, what would you say are the arguments for and against which way James Gunn will go with this? Suicide Squad PG-13 or Suicide Squad rated R? How do you see it?
Well, first of all, with a movie called Suicide Squad, you want it to be kick-ass. You want it in your face. You want it hardcore. That's why they're the Suicide Squad. And I think that making it R-rated seems like a natural progression, especially, you know, James Gunn is an auteur. And when you look at things he's done in the past, like Super, which was also R-rated, I think that having a sensibility like James Gunn's that's untethered to, say, the needs of the MCU, when it doesn't necessarily have to be, well, family friendly, allowing him to unleash his sensibilities, I think means box office dollars. I mean, I see James Gunn as sort of the cinematic equivalent of Deadpool, the character. The way that Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool. I think James Gunn can be that kind of a filmmaker. And I'm not saying that he's going to make a movie like Deadpool, but James Gunn has a wild and woolly sensibility. And if he needs to careen into the R-rated world, I think he can easily do it. And I think this movie would very much lend itself to that. And if you go that auteur route, I mean, Todd Phillips was able, like you said, to make Joker to great effect. And Harley Quinn, maybe not so much, but I think they're going to let him go R. I really do.
And do you think giving him permission to do that he'll take advantage of that, or will he want to stay in the Guardians of the Galaxy area and keep it PG-13? Do you think he'll want to go R?
I think he'll absolutely want to go R because he's got Guardians 3 coming up, and what he's got that sort of spirit of anarchy in him, and he can go a little crazy, and I think that's what people want from this kind of movie. And I think I'll tell you, the glimpses we had early on of the costumes and things were pretty goofy, but if you see that and then suddenly people are having their limbs hacked off and it goes hardcore, then it becomes a whole vision. And I can see that James Gunn is going to do that sort of to confound expectations. And by the way, who doesn't want to see that? Can you imagine if they drop a trailer that shows, yes, this is an R-rated movie? I think people are going to go bananas.
I think people will too. Now, there will be some people out there that will be tempted to say, well, Birds of Prey did not do well. And they'll say, well, if you make comic book movies rated R, it can't do well. Listen, there are several reasons why Birds of Prey didn't do great, and I don't think any of them had to do with it being R-rated. Now, did that prevent some people from going? Maybe if it was a PG-13 film, would more families have taken their kids to it? Maybe. But it just wasn't that good of a movie. I mean, I know the movie has its fans. The movie has its fans, and I respect that, and that's great. And I don't think Birds of Prey was terrible, by the way. I don't. But it was a movie you were making with a side character as your lead. It was horribly titled because nobody cares about Birds of Prey in the movie audience. They cared about Harley Quinn. It was pretty badly marketed and just overall wasn't that good of a movie. So I don't think the R rating had a lot to do with that. So I think Suicide Squad's going to be rated R. How good or bad that's going to end up being for them? We'll have to wait and find out. Question here is, guys, what do you think Warner Brothers and James Gunn is going to do with Suicide Squad? Do you think they're going to make it PG-13 like a more traditional comic book movie? Do you think they might push it like they have lately with Harley Quinn and Joker and go into the R rating? What do you guys think is going to happen? What do you think should happen? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.